Thank you, Kiran. So, hello everyone. So, we are finally starting, like getting into Web3, learning about Solidity and other stuffs. So, few pointers. Obviously, there were a lot of people who were beginners in JavaScript. They didn't had much experience and other stuffs. Like some were intermediates. So I know that it is a little difficult to catch up. We did like just 6 classes, and there's a lot to learn when it comes to a language. But you shouldn't really like stop your JavaScript journey there itself, even though we are starting Solidity. The journey has to continue, and because you need all of that in the projects, right? So the practice shouldn't really stop. When it comes to Web3, there's a lot to learn. Personally, I have been in the space for 1 year now, and I still feel overwhelmed with all these new blockchains, new protocols, new languages coming up every now and then. You just don't know which one to learn, which one to go forward with. But initially, when you're starting, you should stick to one, learn about it, and then because all of these are pretty similar to each other, the whole journey gets easier. Okay, so since we're starting something new, we will be doing something different today. Instead of me doing the talking, I am expecting all of you guys to talk today. Okay, so we are not gonna go like that I choose one topic like what is Web3 or what is Solidity or what is EVM, blah blah blah, and go on explaining it to you or show you a PPT. Okay, what I'll do is, what I expect you guys to do is, first of all, I'll for today's session, I'll ask everyone to, switch on their cameras. Let us make it a very interactive one first. Once we get into the code and everything, we can, be behind the screens and let me do the talking. But everyone should switch on their cameras. And what you will do is you will write 3 jargon words in the chat that you have heard about Web3. Now, it can be Web3 itself, it can be blockchain, it can be smart contract, any term that you guys have come across. Like that day, people were asking me what is wallet in that particular piece of code and other stuffs. So you will write 3 jargon terms each, and anybody from the audience who knows the definition to those will speak up. Okay, if there's a point that seems missing, then I'll add on to it, give you my understanding of definition as well. So that will be like a more of interactive session so that you can gain from the audience. Okay, only if I keep on doing the talking, there's no sense to it, right? Since we're going to deep dive into the basics and understand the definitions and other stuffs, you got to hear other people's definition. Only then you will be able to relate to their analogies and see a different perspective of how they have learned stuffs. Okay, so without wasting our times, let's so everyone, you can switch on your camera because I would really like to see people who are speaking. And you can write three jargon terms about Web3 that you have heard or seen on Twitter or in general, whatever you know. And the other ones who know the answer to it, you guys have to speak up and give the answers. So I have to do the minimal talking today. Multiple reasons for it. So one is I'm traveling. Our next session will be definitely from Goa. So I am more in the chill vibe. And then I got my results, final semester results, and it's like, oh, more than I expected. So I'm like more in the happy zone today. So yeah, I would like you guys to do the maximum work. Okay, I see people switching on their cameras. Good, good. Okay, start writing. Thank you. Thank you. Why are we not surprised? Oh, I am surprised. I wasn't. My GPA for the semester is 9.65. I mean, I am shocked. Ah, topper. No, no. know. Just basic. Okay, no congratulations.
You're taking
I have postponed my celebration to after the session, so we'll focus on study more. So people, huh?
No, Sneha, you are shattering glass
Somebody said.
ceilings on a different level because this is like, it's going to be Sharma Ji ki ladki as a reference now and not Sharma Ji ka ladka. No, but congratulations, man. So exciting to hear about your scores.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My whole target was just one thing, that is to get a cumulative GPA of above 9 because I plan to go for my master's. And thankfully, I had no seniors who said that, marks doesn't matter. No, everyone was telling me that no matter how much skills you have, marks really matter. So I was trying to balance all of that all together. And for my last semester, I had a job. So it was like really difficult. And today I was like, oh, wow, thank God, finally. Or else I would have got scolded from my parents. Masters from where? Somewhere around US or UK. I'm trying to target Ivy Leagues because I don't plan to go right away. I plan to go like in 2 years' time, and that is why I'm like gaining more experience of the industry, trying my hands on everything. Because if you have experience of the industry, if you have good marks, if you have a startup of your own, all of that adds to your profile and you get a nice scholarship, things become easy. I didn't want to go for my masters in Germany, and US and UK is pretty difficult, especially Ivy Leagues is very expensive. So just planning my way through. I don't know how is it gonna happen, but yeah. Thank you, thank you. Okay, enough about me. Come on, everyone, start writing up the jargon words that you guys have heard. And okay, somebody wrote a lot. Smart contracts wag me to the moon. No, we're not talking about the social jargons. Smart contracts is fine, but Wagmi and to the moon are exactly like the Web2 terms LOL and YOLO and all of that. So you don't really need to know that. Okay, MetaMask, ERC20 token, gas, Bitcoin, decentralized smart contracts. Okay, so everyone can see the jargon terms that has been written, and I can only, okay, is it a problem with my Zoom that I can only see 4 people with switch on who have switch on their cameras? Yes. So please, guys, I know that these people who switch on the cameras are the only ones who do all the talking. And today we have around 70 people. So I would request all of you to do it so that we can, proceed faster with the session. I see a lot of terms. If we start discussing all of these, the session will like go on for more than 2 hours. But since you guys are also able to see what jargon terms your peers have, and since blockchain is all about, peer-to-peer system, there's no central authority in between. I would like that peer-to-peer thing happen here also. So anybody who knows any of the terms that has already been mentioned in the chat, you can take the ownership and speak about it and, explain it to the other person. If there's anything to add on, I would definitely do that from my end. So let's like, try to implement the peer-to-peer system that blockchain and Web3 follows here also. I'm traveling, so I can't switch on my cam. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. Come on, guys. I see a lot of it. So just go through the chat and anybody who can take it forward can just, answer.
I would like to say about cryptography. So,
Okay.
what is meant by cryptography is protecting the information with your use of codes.
Okay.
Okay. So, that what I know is cryptography is that, and coming to bitcoins, bitcoins are a form of virtual money, like
Mm-hmm.
okay, not the original money. It's like a virtual money.
Mm-hmm.
And blockchain is used to remove the middleman person.
Okay.
Okay, there is only the user and the um, the one who is like um, I mean what producer, like there is only a producer and the client. There is no middleman. In order to remove the middleman, we use a blockchain. So these
Okay.
are the three things that I know.
Okay. Cool. So the first thing that she mentioned was cryptography, right? And she said that we are trying to protect the data using code. Okay. I'll give you a very simple example here. Now, oh, I forgot my pen. Okay. Everyone, so what I'll tell you is that there's one data. Okay. Suppose that data that we're talking about is my name, Neha. Okay. And I don't want anybody outside this Zoom meeting to know what my real name is. Okay. Or and I know that there might be someone who is who might just sneak in between the meeting. So I say that we'll fix a code word. Okay, we're not actually going to reveal the data, but we're going to use a code word. Okay, so I will say that whatever I say, okay, if I am talking about a particular data, whatever word I'm going to give you, I will give you alphabets that are plus 3 of that particular alphabet. So it's like okay, so if my first letter is S, okay, so I'll say TUV. So instead of S, I will say V. Okay, instead of L, what will be the third letter of L? Come on, respond. OPQ. Okay, come on. So okay, I'll show you this. Suppose I am writing this. Forget about my name. I will say that this will go like C, D, and E. Okay. So if I say that I give you a data ABC, instead of that, I'll tell you that okay, it is CDE, and you have to decode it that it's ABC. And I've already told you that whatever I'm gonna say or whatever data I'm gonna give you, that will be like the third alphabet from the actual alphabet. You get my point? Huh? So in that case, there is this +3 thing is an algorithm, okay, that I've revealed to you, and ABC is the real data and CDE is your encrypted data. Okay. So if it's between me and Garima, the code word has to be understood by only me, okay, and her. So she knows that okay, Sneha had told me before the session that she's gonna, whatever she's gonna say or whatever data she's gonna give, it's not the real data, but it will be something that is a +3 of that data, right? So from her end, she can easily decode that part, right? Even that we do these things. If we are talking to our cousins and there's very secretive information that we don't want our parents to know, we'll always be like, okay, yeah, if you have to give someone's number, we'll be like, yeah, page number 53, okay, page number 65, okay. So we know that the other person understands what code word are we talking about, right? So that is the whole logic behind cryptography. So there is a data, you put an algorithm to it. That algorithm is designed in a certain manner that it will generate an encrypted data. Okay. And the other person has the key to that encrypted data. That means that person knows how to decode or run the algorithm in a reverse manner. And then he will be able to get the decrypted data. So that nobody except the both parties involved should actually understand what code are we talking about. Now there are a lot of such algorithms. SHA 256, SHA 512, a lot more, RSA and blah blah. You will read about this if you are computer science students. But what we generally talk about when we talk in blockchain is about SHA 256. Okay, so it's like secure hashed algorithm 256. And why it has 256? Because it talks about 256 bit of data generation as the output. Okay. So the cryptography works on a like a really large scale when it comes to the whole blockchain technology. Okay, there's a concept of public key, there's a concept of private key, there's a concept of signing the messages through digital signature. Okay, so if we get into all of that explanation, I think it will be a lot more lengthy. But in basic terms, terms, you should know all of these, what these terms mean. Okay. So you'll always hear about cryptography and its examples using two human names, that is Alice and Bob. Okay. These are the two most popular cryptography people example that we're going to take. Okay. So when you talk about like messages being encrypted, you will see that how it is explained is that Alice encrypts a data, okay, using its public key. It has a public key, it has a private key. Okay. The public key of Alice is also known to Bob, but the private key of Alice is only known to him. Okay. Same is for Bob. So all of us can know all of our public keys, but the private keys is something that has to be kept with us. Okay. It's exactly like you might give the key of your house, the main key of your house, to anybody. Like if there's a guest and you are not at home, you will give a spare key or anything, right? But if there's this one room that has the locker and that has all the gold jewelry and cash, you're not going to give that private key of or the key of the locker to anybody, right? That stays with you. Why? Because it has your most precious ornaments and stuff, right? So the public key is like a general key. It's visible to everyone. It can be your account address when you're talking about digital wallets. But private key is something that is used to decrypt data that has been sent for you personally, and it should only be known by you. The person who's even sending you the message should not know that private key. Okay. So there's like a whole lot of stages in this encryption and decryption that happens, how the public key is used to encode the message, how the private key comes into play. That is not what we're going to discuss. What we're going to discuss is the terms like encryption, decryption, ciphertext. Okay. So we have already talked, right? If the data that is being shared, it has to be encrypted using an algorithm, right? So and when it is encrypted using an algorithm, a ciphertext is generated. That ciphertext is basically your encoded data. That code which you've been referring to. Okay. Decrypted data is when you convert that ciphertext into the actual data using another algorithm. Okay. Is my internet bad? Because I see all of you stuck. Can you guys clearly hear me? Okay, okay. Good, good, fine. Think so. Occasional lags, you're audible. Okay, cool. So, yeah, that was cryptography. Okay. Anybody else? What else did she discuss? I forgot. Soumya discussed about cryptography, then she discussed about blockchain. What else did we discuss?
Bitcoin. Bitcoin.
Yeah, right. So anybody else who wants to take the explanation for blockchain, Bitcoin in general? So cryptography and the concept of cryptography is clear for you guys, right? If somebody asks you what is encrypted data, what is decrypted data, or how does like what is private key or what is public key, in general, in layman terms, you can explain it, right? Okay, cool. Okay, so anybody else who would like to take the explanation of blockchain?
Ma'am, can I talk about cryptocurrency?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I just know a little bit about cryptocurrency. It is a digital currency or digital coins we use alternate to general money, and these are created using encryption algorithms.
Okay.
That's it, ma'am. I have little idea about cryptocurrency.
Okay. So, anybody else who wants to take again your blockchain?
Ma'am, blockchain is a form of making the data is more private and secured, ma'am. And we are securing the data from thieves, like not getting them known.
Hmm. Cool, cool. I don't know what's. Yeah. A lot of yes, but when I ask the answer, there's no response. Huh? Come on, anybody? Garima, do you know how blockchain works?
Ma'am, can I tell?
Tejasvi. Yeah, sure.
Blockchain is a decentralized technology. So it basically consists of chain of blocks. So these are linked together. All these blocks are linked together. If one block is added, it cannot be removed again. That makes it so secure for the transactions and data. And it has a central authority, ma'am.
Okay, cool. So, when we talk,
Hello.
yeah, continue.
Okay, so it is also immutable. If let's say some outsider tries to tamper with one block, then the hash of that block changes as well. It affects the subsequent blocks.
Yeah. Okay. So, can anyone explain me that we're talking about blockchain and like Tejasvi said that it's like blocks of data that is connected together, and if there's any tamperment, people will get to know, or it's immutable basically. That's what I was trying to say. So, how is that particular data available to everyone? Neha, you understand? Yeah, you can speak up.
Blockchain consists batches of transaction, and the batches established on blockchain with by resolving some complex algorithm problem. And the recent block has the private key of a next block, I guess. Yes, and that's how the batch. That's how the blocks are stored in the blockchain. And blockchain is a global ledger. That's all I know.
Okay, so she used the word global ledger. Can anyone explain what does the word global ledger means?
Can I?
Yeah, sure.
So basically, a ledger consists of all the transactions that are made, and this ledger is available to every node. Like everyone who is connected can access that particular ledger. everyone has a copy
Okay.
of it.
Okay, good. So see, basically when we're talking about blockchain, if you get into like the working of blockchain, it can involve like a very in-depth mechanism of how it works with SHA-256 and other stuff. But in layman terms, if you have to understand and you don't have to make it overwhelming for you, how it goes is, suppose it's like a infinite notice board. Okay, so and that infinite notice board is visible to everyone, like to all of us. Okay, so any change that I am making on that notice board is updated right away, and everybody has the notification or has the access to that change. Okay, so suppose I was saying that if you talk about having a record of, if we all of us go on a trip, right, and everybody is like spending some part of the money and they are supposed to add it. So suppose I do the flight tickets for everyone when we are going to Goa. Okay, and I pay a certain amount, suppose 50,000 rupees. Okay, so everybody knows that, okay, the amount is 50,000, but when I'm trying to update it on the ledger, I write it as 5 lakhs. Okay, so I add an extra zero. So everyone at the same moment knows that this is not the correct data, right? So that change has to be made. A change, no, that is not how it should be. So the thing here that comes is that you know that a particular change was done. Or suppose in the initial I write it as 50,000. Okay, and I say that yeah, I gave 50,000 and I have wrote it on the notice board. While you guys are sleeping, I add an extra zero to it and make it 5 lakhs, right? So that is where we talk about data inconsistency, or about fraud data, right? So if I do that change won't be done in the same record. Okay, it will be added as a new record, that Sneha added trip charges as 5 lakhs. Okay, so everyone knows that she did something. If we are writing it on a blackboard, right, I wrote it as 50,000, and 2 days or 3 days or 1 week after the trip, I make a extra zero. So you guys might not remember, right? That, oh, maybe it was 5 lakhs. Yeah, she's correct, because you don't have a proof of it. But if it is recorded as a new transaction, you know that, okay, she did something without informing us, right? So that is why when we talk about blockchain, there's a lot of transparency here. Whatever you do, whatever transactions you do, whatever code you're putting in, whatever you are doing doing on the internet in terms of data, it is stored. Okay, it is stored in those nodes. Now, when we talk about nodes, all of us who are a part of the system, who are a part of that blockchain, or who are contributing in some or the other way, can be nodes. Okay, so it's like, if you're talking about the recording of this session, that means that data is available on all of our computers. It's not just on the host's computer, but it's on all of our computers. So even though that data gets damaged or that data gets erased, all of us have a copy of it, right? So this basically is how the data is distributed when it comes to blockchain. Now, a lot of people have that kind of question that we have heard that if a certain decision has to be taken, or we're talking about, no central authorities, and there's a voting mechanism, there's thing called consensus mechanism, how things work, right? So it's all happening peer to peer. Everyone is given the same authority, and then they are deciding on something. Now it can be through a lot of consensus mechanism. We'll discuss about consensus mechanism later, but first we will see how things go in a very basic manner. So in terms of, and the point that I wanted to put forward was, like, there are a lot of people who said that it's a chain of block, and I think there was this girl, I forgot. She answered in the end and she said that there's a private key of the previous block. No, I would correct it. The hash of the previous block is also a part of the next block. Okay. So it's like, if I do a transaction on blockchain, there's a block. Okay, and because it's going through a cryptographic algorithm, a certain hash has been generated. Now, if you ask me what hash is, it's basically in the form of an output. Okay, now so you just have to understand that at this point, hash is an output that we have got through putting any kind of data through an algorithm. Okay, now the next block that has to be added on the blockchain, okay, is mixed with this hash. That means this hash plus the new hash of that block, okay, is hashed together, and a new hash is generated. Now, why is it done? It is done so that if there is any change in the middle block, okay, it will also affect the other blocks, right? Because the hash that was generated from this block is also part of the other block, right? So whatever you're changing here is also affecting the other block. That is how it happens. Now, all of us, when we were kids, we have played a game in which we hold hands of people, right? So what we are supposed to do is we'll run after people, we'll catch, and whosoever we catch, we hold hands with them. And in that way, we form a long chain. Has any one of you played it, or is it my generation game? Ah, okay. Thank God. So, no, that generation thing was a joke, guys. I am just 22, so almost same age group. Okay. So yeah. So what happens is, now suppose while we are playing that game and I am holding Niharika's hand and Niharika is holding Garima's hand, and a honeybee comes and bites Niharika's hand, right? So she's gonna leave me also and she's gonna leave Garima also, right? And similarly, because there's a reflex action, we might also leave other people. So if there's a change in any of the element in that chain, here in blockchain, we're talking about the blocks in the chain, it will affect the previous, it is gonna affect the next block also. So here, when we're talking about humans, it might affect in any direction, but when we're talking about the blocks of data, since there's just one side chain, okay, so it's like if I am the first person who is supposed to catch, okay, and if there's a change in me, I am gonna leave the hand, right? There's nobody on my left side, right? So nothing gets affected that side. So whenever there's a change in one block, all the next blocks are gonna be affected, okay? When I explain how consensus mechanism works, now consensus mechanism in layman terms is how we're going to decide which block to add on the data. There might be blocks that cannot be valid. So how do we make sure that the correct block is added, or how do we make sure we choose the right candidate? So if we are voting, how do we go forward with it, and a lot of other things. So we'll talk about that. That's like a whole topic in itself. But as of now, this is how blockchain works. There's a lot of terms in it. Okay, blocks of data, then there's node. Then you might have heard of miners. Okay, how many of you have heard about miners or block validators? Somebody in the explanation mentioned that the blocks are solved using computational puzzles, which is true. Okay, so, and these computational puzzles are what? These computational puzzles are the encryption and decryption of data through that heavy algorithms is what we are talking about. Okay, so people who are validating the block, it's like if instead of saying that for ABCD I'm gonna say CDE, if I give you a random code, okay, random data, how many of you have attempted mental ability reasoning questions when you were kids, or for your placements, or in any kind of exams that you have given for NTSC or whatever exams? How many of you have solved those puzzle questions that it will be like, okay, JQRS is written as PSTU, ABCD is written as ZXWY, then what is MAN written as, right? There are such questions. So it's exactly like that. Whosoever comes up with the solution first is gonna hit the answer, and that block is validated and added. Okay, but it has to match like a lot of stuff. See the timestamp, see the right work, and all of that. So that is a whole thing in itself. And people who are validating these transactions are miners, and people make a lot of money because whatever transaction you are doing, that transaction is being validated by a miner. Now, how is that miner validating? Since he is also part of the whole blockchain system and we all are nodes, he's also aware of it, right? So he's validating that block and he's confirming that, okay, Sneha is sending $1,000 to Swati. So, okay, this is Sneha's wallet address. This is Swati's wallet address. Okay, this is how it is happening. This is Sneha's digital signature. This is Swati's digital signature. Okay, this block is validated. So, some part of the money, some part of the transaction has to be given to the validator for putting in that kind of time and effort for validating the block. So that is what we mentioned as transaction fees. Okay. Then there are and similarly these thing goes as gas fees and other fees, whatever. So it is all to incentivize the people who are doing that work for us in terms of validating the blocks and other stuff, right? So I'll show you a video during the end of the class. It talks about yeah. And that problem that they solve is called proof of work. So the whole mechanism, proof of work itself is a consensus mechanism in which you prove that, okay, you have worked. Okay, this is how it was done. This is how I have validated the block. This is the time and energy I put, and that is how you're rewarded. Then there's another very popular consensus mechanism called proof of stake. Okay, so for proof of stake, you got to hold a certain amount of tokens, maximum tokens to be in the voting rights and all of that. Now, this includes a lot of transparency because a block will only be validated, or anything in a blockchain ecosystem is only going to be validated if the majority is with you. Okay, so it's not like I can bribe you and say, bro, please do it for me. I'll give you a samosa party. No, that is not how it works. Even if you're having a proof of stake, you got to own 51% of the stake of that whole system to work in favor for you, and then you can do something illegally in that, or change the data or whatever. Yeah, you guys can change the data and see that. Okay, I'll present this. I was searching for a similar link. I did that in one of my sessions. Wait, let me show that to you so that I can explain alongside with that. Yeah. Okay, so I'll share the screen. Okay, so everyone can see my screen, right? Okay, cool. So now see, this is the block 1, and the first block of every blockchain is called the genesis block. Okay, the first block that is to be added is the genesis block. So you guys should remember these terms. Now you see block 1, nonce is okay, this, and suppose you put see, the block is there. The moment I put S, the hash is changing. Okay, the previous year is 000. Now I put N. Just see the initial data and you'll realize. If you put N, the hash is changing. E, H, A. Now, if you do it again, you will see that. So first time, just focus on block 1. The second time, you have to see all 3 blocks together. Okay. So this initial block is 4 zeros, 157, blah, blah, blah. This is 4 zeros, 12FA, blah, blah, blah. This is also 4 zeros, B90 stuff. The moment you put S, this changed, and this also changed, right? Why? Because this block is connected to this block. This hash is very much connected to this, and similarly, the hash of this one. You can see that this hash value is similar to this hash value, right? And similarly, this hash value is mentioned here. So all of these are connected through chains. So whenever you change anything in one block, a lot of, like, it's not like a minor change that will happen in the other block. Everything will change. You won't be even able to figure out that, okay, what is it that I wrote that changed. Okay. Now somebody asked me what is nonce. So I'll have to look into it. It basically talks about in how many attempts one can figure out. Wait. I always forget the definition. Okay, so it says that in cryptocurrency, nonces are used as the number that's used in a hash to verify the transactions and other data contained in the block. There was an example, there was a nice simulation used to refer with common number and used once. Nonces play crucial, yeah, proof of work. So I am not remembering the link for that simulation, but that was a really nice simulation that I came through. I think I'll search for it and bring it in the next class. So what it does is it explains you in a certain manner. Okay, that how much is the chance that if you have a hash that starts with 30 zeros in the starting, how many times will you generate something that you're gonna get that value? So when you're talking about nonsense, no, nonsense not. If you talk in plural, it sounds. So if you're talking about nonce, it is saying that you got to generate that number, and that number is gonna verify, okay, this number belongs to this particular block, and it justifies the hash value. Now, how can it be done? Now, suppose for that block, if the nonce was written as 115315, right? And if I'm trying to crack that particular block and I have the hash value, or if I have that number, I'll have to use multiple permutations and combinations to generate and verify that, okay, this number belongs to this hash, or vice versa, right? So it can only be used once, and it's basically used for verification purpose. Okay, so that stays constant. If you change the data, this is a sequential number that starts at the 0 for the first transaction sent from an address. Okay, someone wrote the whole paragraph. The purpose is prevent replay attacks and maintain the correct order transactions. It becomes possible to prevent someone from duplicating or reordering transactions from a given address as well. So, Ashutosh, can you like explain it in the terms rather than just giving it in the chat? I think that would be no, multiple blocks can't or transactions can't have the same nonce. It prevents miners from simply guessing the correct hash value without performing the necessary computational work. Yeah, that is what I was trying to explain. So you can't just guess the hash value. You got to like have some verification that tells you that, okay, yeah, this is what it belongs to. Ashutosh, are you there?
Yes. Hello.
So yeah, can you explain like nonce in your terms if you know it? I mean, it's
Like
not
I
just
think
from Google.
yeah, like the presence of the nonce is just like create an index for your transactions. So like when you send transactions to the blockchain, you have an indexing on it. So like 1 2 3 4 5, and so if someone wants to suppose you send ABCD on the blockchain, someone should not be able to like make it BCAD. So I think for that reason, like, the
Yeah.
nonce exists.
Hmm. Okay. Fair enough. So where did that link go? I tried searching for it really long, so you would have been able to understand things. But as of now, the terms that we discussed, be it cryptography or blockchain, okay, is that clear? What else did we discuss? I'm just forgetting. We're talking about so many terms in between. Yeah, we discussed proof of work also. We discussed how data is stored in blockchain. We discussed about miners. We discussed about nonce. So it's clear. Is it? I mean, no. Is it clear? Okay, cool. There are could we please repeat minors? Yeah. See, minors are nothing but those people who are validating the blocks. Okay. So there are people who have all this huge hardware setup at home with great computational powers and all of that, which can solve figuring out or decrypting of that hash quickly. Okay. So whosoever is trying to solve and finding the right value of that block that is to be added, that person is a miner. And whatever transactions we are performing, if you see if you perform, like we'll do such transactions when we are doing smart contracts during the sessions, so you will see that there is a certain amount of fee that has been charged. Okay, that is to incentivize the people who are doing the proof of work and trying to validate the block. So those people are called miners. And mining is one of a huge way to earn money when it comes to blockchain technology. If you have all those devices, if you put money in those devices, you can make sure you validate the blocks, give that time, and you can earn a lot of money through those transactions. Okay, so since I got disconnected, I lost all those jargon terms that are there in the chat. So if someone else who would want to uh, like discuss whatever they are able to see in the chat. Anybody who can explain me what smart contracts are? Because we are gonna learn how to write smart contracts. Anybody who can explain me what smart contracts are? Just try. It's okay.
Smart contracts are like functions and what we need to perform when it's basically functions written in JavaScript that we need to perform when a certain thing happens. I think.
Okay, cool. So a little correction. So in Web 2, what we see is there are programming codes that we have written, right? When you make a website, when you make a Android application, whatever it is, you write code. Nothing works without the code, right? So smart contracts are those codes which we are talking about when we're talking about Web 3 or blockchain in general, okay? And these codes are to be run automatically. There's no human intervention. Okay, so once you write that code and once you deploy it on the blockchain, the moment that smart contract is initiated, whether you perform a transaction or anything, everything that has been written in the smart contract is done like automatically. You don't have to initiate anything. Okay, so in layman terms, like in a very layman terms, you can say that these are smart contract is just a fancy term used for code in Web3. Okay, like the code that is governing the whole Web3, that is trying to remove the manual person or any third party from between. So all the transactions can just happen through or initiated through smart contracts. Now suppose we work on a project, okay, and what Kiran and Priyanka decided was that instead of giving the money in the end, okay, that Sneha or Garima or Swati, whatever project they're working on, what we will do is we will set milestones, okay, and once that milestone has been achieved and like Priyanka and Kiran both verify that we will be paid a certain percentage. That can be any percentage. Okay. So what they do is that, okay, we are very busy peeps. We just don't want to waste our energy behind these three girls. So we'll automate it. So we'll write a smart contract in which the moment we select that, okay, these milestones have been, fulfilled by these people, the transaction will be initiated and the money will be sent to you. Okay, that has to be done through like a digital signature. So when the moment the money is being deducted, or the moment any transaction is performed from their end, it has to be signed. Okay, now I'll show you how that thing is signed using digital wallets. You will see, you will do that, all of that. It always ask I think we discussed MetaMask in the last class, right? We talked about how MetaMask is a digital wallet. Did I tell you? I think I didn't tell the name, but I did explain how digital wallet is there, which holds cryptocurrency, and MetaMask is an Ethereum compatible digital wallet, right? That holds a lot of cryptocurrency and stuff. Yeah, people written executing programs are smart contracts. Yes, so smart contracts are nothing but a code that run automatically when specific conditions are met, right? Yeah. So it's like that. You're trying to automate things, okay? And the thing is, the moment smart contracts are deployed, okay, you can't change it, okay? If there's any changes, or if you think, okay, this is not working the right way, you'll have to redeploy it. And it's I'll give you an example. Suppose me and Priyanka did a deal, okay, that after the session, we'll go for a shopping, or we'll put some amount of money, this amount of money, that amount of money, we'll take a nice vacation, okay. And we did a deal that, okay, we both will put $5,000 and go to maybe Vietnam together, okay. We signed the deal and we are like, okay, yeah, we're good friends, we trust each other. And we said that, okay, after this particular date has been passed, that money will be added to the account, or that money will be added to the wallet, or whatever it is, right? Now, what I did was, I was too clever and I changed the account address to my account address. So my money stays in my account and her money also comes to my account. Okay. And because we did the initial transaction as a smart contract and we deployed it, we know that this was the timestamp. So every smart contract, once is deployed, it has a smart contract address. Okay, it has a transaction hash to it. The moment you go to the browser and you open that particular browser, like a Etherscan, Etherscan. Yeah, Etherscan is one of the, I think. Not browsers, but if you're on browser and if you search for Etherscan, it has Polygon scan is also there. So if you put the transaction hash or smart contract address, it'll give you all the data about that smart contract. That this smart contract was deployed, this much gas fee was required, this smart contract was deployed through this particular account address. Okay, it has all the data. So it's basically like your hostel entry register. Okay, so if you came at 10 p.m., the warden can check that, okay, the entry is at 10 p.m. and you can't even give a false entry because there's a CCTV right there and they can verify, right? So that it's like nobody can change once it's written in the register. It's an you can't clear the page, you can't erase it. It's just written. Okay, so similarly, if I want to change anything in that deal that me and Priyanka made, I'll have to redeploy the smart contract. Okay, so then she'll get to know that, oh, nice, she did something wrong. Why? Because the timestamp for our transaction or smart contract was this, and this smart contract was just redeployed minutes later or hours later or whatever. So everything is too transparent. Even you can verify. If I say that, no, I did this code, you'll say, oh, show me when was the smart contract deployed. And if it's a hackathon, I'm showing you a code that was deployed 3 years ago. Right. I didn't even try redeploying the smart contract. So everything can be verified through that. So that is what we talk about. It's basically programs. They have like a lot of fancy languages. Every blockchain will come up with a new language. That is the only that I hate in Web3. If you talk about Ethereum, it talks about it supports Solidity. And if you go to start building on Solana, it will ask you to build on Rust. If you go to Algorand, it will ask you to build on Reach. If you go to Aptos, they'll ask you to learn Move language. How many languages do we have to learn in one life, bro? So that's the only thing that's bad about these blockchains when it comes to Web3. I'm really scared to learn so many languages and write smart contracts. But Solidity is one of the easiest ones. It has a lot of similar features to C++, JavaScript. So it's easy. It's easy for you. It will always be. How much does the syntax differ between languages? Oh, bro. Oh, God. There are some languages that looks like alien codes. God, you'll have to put your head into it. But Solidity is the easiest. Solidity is like such a beautiful language. It will, if you are from a programming background and you know C or C++ or Java, it has the same concepts. It has concepts of functions, it has concept of variables. There are just one or two extra elements that will be added. There might not be a class feature, but there's some other feature that works like class and all of that. So it's a really nice language. That is why everyone recommends learning Solidity first and then going to any other language, which I can't guarantee that you will be able to understand. Okay. So yeah, that is one thing. So we discussed about smart contracts and the whole next, I think 11 classes are gonna be all about Solidity, how to write code in Solidity and other stuffs, how to build a cryptocurrency and other stuffs. Okay. Now, we have talked a lot about these heavy terms. Let me ask you, how many of you actually can explain me the difference between Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3? Or does anybody know that there are these terms called Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3?
Hey, Sneha, can I give it a try?
Yeah, sure.
Like initially, I think I don't remember the correct year, but in 1990s, like they started in the initial stage of web. They have started building web pages just to read content from it. Like they were all static. But in web 2, it's more of interactivity, and there is a client and a server, and client sends the request to the server and server sends the response back. Like it's a client server kind of thing. There is a centralized server in it in web 2, but when coming to web 3, it's like an completely opposite. There is no kind of client and server kind of thing. It's completely decentralized. Like every node has like I can say a database kind of thing. Every node has it, and so it's not like everyone can request and give a response to. So I think that.
Okay. Yeah, good. The most of it is what she said. So the initial version of internet that we had in like the early 2000s or stuff, it was more of a static internet. So we upload something as a static web page and that stays. You can't interact with it. So that is why we said that Web 1 was more of read-only format. You can't interact in real time. You can't write anything. Once uploaded, it's uploaded as a static page. Then we came into the Web 2 era, and we are still in the Web 2 era, in which we can do things real time. So we can read, we can write, we can chat with people, right? So it's more of a responsive internet. But when we talk about Web 3, there's an extra term added. That is I have no idea how I got disconnected. But resuming, yeah. So Web3 is basic read, write, and own. Okay. So why do we use this term own? Because Web3 comes with a system, or Web3 comes with the ideology that you have to own everything that you do. since everything is transparent, right? And in Web 2, what you've seen, people see that if I write a poem, okay, a friend of friend of friend of friend takes a screenshot and uploads it and like takes that appreciation from people like, oh, bro, I wrote this thing, right? But now Web3 people have come up with these NFTs, and it has come to an era that anything that you do, okay, and if you put it on the internet, it just stays, and it stays under your name. So you have like a copyright of it, right? So you own the content. It's not like today. So today, like I was very, suppose if I'm very pissed and I'm like so angry of something that happened, okay, and I start blaming like Elon Musk, or if I start blaming politicians of our country, and I'm like, no, I hate this particular political party and blah blah. You just never know. You just never know that that tweet, you might have seen these things, right? That if anybody has come up and said something very vocal about anything that they don't like, anything about the system, you'll see that within hours that tweet is gone, okay, and or their account is suspended, right? That is because all these third parties, that is Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, these applications, they don't give us that authority of having our content as our own, right? Tomorrow, even if you have like 1 million followers on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, if you do one thing, or even if you don't do one thing, your account can just be gone, right? So what about all the efforts that has been put up, right? So that is like a lot of lack of ownership that you have. You don't have a voice. You don't have that privacy. You don't have that decentralization. Why we came up with this fancy word called decentralization? Because we didn't want any third party to be involved. If I write a blog about whatever, it can be anything. It can be about my personal experience with in the industry or anything in person. That blog belongs to me and is for my users or my viewers, okay? Nobody else, no other platform has the authority to take it down, okay? So that is what people in the Web 2 era wanted, that nobody should actually intervene in your stuff. Whatever you do, you take ownership of it, okay? So that is how that is why we call Web3 as read, write and own, because everything is transparent, right? Whatever you're putting it out there, it's transparent, but that doesn't mean that that data is open to all. That doesn't mean that your privacy is hindered, because everything is encrypted. The data is encrypted, so a third party can see the details and can be a I think how do I say it, can be a witness for it, but they can't see what data has been put up. So your privacy is also, you know, taken care of. So that is why we say that when it comes to Web3, we come up with these policies of decentralization and security and safety and ownership and a lot more terms, right? So it is like built up on that technology where you're trying to automate stuffs. You don't need a human to, I mean, how beautiful can a technology be, right? So you write a piece of code, a smart contract, and you're writing that piece of code so that you can remove human intervention. So human writes the code and removes the intervention of a human and wants it to run automatically, right? And it's not something like AI that can scare you that, oh, it's gonna replace me only. No, it is you who wrote code, okay? But you don't want someone else to tamper with the code. You don't want someone else to have the authority over the code. That is why you're trying to make it run automatically, and nobody can come and just change the code. Nobody can be like, oh, Sneha did this. No, I don't want this. I want to change it. No, they'll have to do it as something different. So that piece of code, whatever you've put up, that still belongs to you. If you are putting a picture on the internet as NFT, suppose. Now, what are NFTs? Anybody who knows it?
Can I try?
Yeah.
So NFTs are non-fungible tokens. These are the unique things that are given the identity. Like suppose for there is an art made by an artist. It's unique to him, and nobody can make that thing as the original one. So they can have the copies of it, but the original one is the NFT.
Yeah. So NFT is exactly, it stands for non-fungible token, and it is one of the one of the core elements that come under blockchain technology. Okay, it is considered to be a digital asset. Now, there's a very common example that I give to my students when I take sessions, like hands-on sessions when it comes to taking it offline. So everybody asks me, so first thing, there are two standards that are followed. When you're doing that project, there are two standards that are followed. So if you want to create a ERC20 token, that is a cryptocurrency basically, you'll have to follow a ERC20 standard. Okay, just try to remember this term. We're going to get deeper into this when we actually do the project. Okay, so for the time being, you just have to remember that. Okay, she mentioned one minute. Yeah, so one is ERC20, one is ERC721. So for cryptocurrency, we're talking about ERC20. For NFTs, we're talking about ERC721. Okay. Now, the example goes like, one is a fungible token, that is ERC20 is a fungible token, and ERC720 is a non-fungible token, that is an NFT. And most of us have seen these art forms or paintings or any kind of GIFs or stuff as the NFT, right? That is what people mint as NFTs. Most of us have seen it like that. What exactly it means is that suppose I have a 50 rupee note and you also have a 50 rupee note. Okay. My 50 rupee note got wet because of rain. Okay. And I'm too particular about it. I really like those like good crispy notes. I don't like notes that have something written or that have gone loose over time. You know, the paper gets different. I like those fresh notes. And I see a fresh note, a 50 rupee note in your hand. Okay. So I know that since you're my friend, I come to you and I say that, can you please take my 50 rupee note and give me your 50 rupee note? And since you know that, okay, the value remains the same, right? It doesn't really matter if it got wet by rain. Okay, it's fine. She wants it. Let me give it to her and let me take her note, right? So even though your notes will have different numbers, your 50 rupee note still has the value of 50. My 50 rupee note still has the value of 50, right? It looks similar, but there are these digits that are different. So it can be exchanged, right? It can be exchanged and the value remains the same. But when it comes to NFTs, they cannot be exchanged. They can be traded, not traded. They can be like sold, given the ownership to someone else, but they can't be exchanged. Now, how do I explain that? So suppose me and Garima are best friends. So we have lived together our entire lives. We are chuddy buddies. So once we grow up and end up having a really nice job that pays us like 1 crore per month, we plan to build a house of our own that looks exactly similar. Everything is similar. The structure is similar. The paint is similar. Everything, design, interiors, everything. Okay. So if anybody sees it from the outside, they're like, oh, it's a copy, right? But I can't tell her that, no, you go to that house and consider it yours, and I'll come to your house and consider it mine. I mean, we are friends, so we can definitely do that. But she can't like give me the whole ownership of that house and be like, oh yeah, let's exchange. It looks same. No. So your house is my house is your house. No. It is on different lands. Okay. So it will obviously be on different piece of land. So it has that difference. It has a significant difference that cannot be exchanged. Right. So that are NFTs. So you can create like a lot of copy of one NFT, but all these NFTs have a different metadata attached to it. That metadata can be anything. It can be about the information about So metadata basically means information about your data, right? So that NFT can have like a unique code, unique data attached to it, whatever it is. It can be anything. So it might look similar. It can be sold. I can sell my house to anyone, right? So with for a certain value, but I can't sell her house and be like, yeah, it looks similar, I'll sell her house instead. Why do I want to sell mine? That can't happen. So that is how it happens. NFTs can look entirely similar, but they would still be different and they cannot be exchanged. Okay, so that is how it goes. So someone who says that it cannot be traded for money, no, I don't completely agree to it, because people sell NFT, right? They list it as 0.2 ethers or point whatever, so you get tokens out of it, right? So the whole process is about trading, but that exchange can't happen between similar assets or identities. That is where the difference lies. Okay, is the concept between a fungible and a non-fungible token clear? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So it's clear. Cool. So we will be ERC20 using like we'll be building a fungible token that is using ERC20 standards. We'll try building an NFT section also. Depends on, you know, how feasible it is for us to do it during the sessions. But these are the basic terms that you should know. Then what else? What else? There were a lot more words. I don't want to just like go like that because I feel that importance. Okay, yeah, DAO. Oh, this is like one of the most common thing that I heard even before I heard about the other terms, that DAO. So we talk about so DAO stands for decentralized autonomous organizations. Okay, again, it's a fancy term, Web3. I feel people had like a lot of time and they were very bored of the usual jargons that we had, or usual abbreviations that we had in Web 2. So they were like, oh, let's build something new. Huh? That LOL and YOLO and all of that thing has gone old. It's out of fashion. So we'll build something new. So we'll do LFG, we'll do Bug Me, we'll do other stuff. So it's exactly like that. So when we talk about DAO, it has the same concept as communities in Web 2. Okay. So DAO is also a community, but it is more like an organization that is running in an autonomous manner. So then there is a voting mechanism. Okay. Then there are people who are governing the DAO, because they might contain like the maximum stake in the DAO if there's a token for that particular DAO, or they can be like the founding people, and everything happens according to peer. Okay, so if suppose Web3 Learn is a DAO, and Kiran is like, I want to do a JavaScript plus Solidity cohort. Okay, like I propose a JavaScript plus Solidity cohort. And Priyanka is like, no, that is very boring. We'll do a Rust cohort. Okay. So there are people in the DAO. And since these two cannot come on a conclusion, and we can't give the whole of authority to both of them because it's about the whole community together, they put up a voting mechanism. Okay, and they ask the peers that, okay, what is your stake on it? So you can vote using guns, you can vote in whatever mechanism it has been decided, and whatever majority comes up with, wherever the majority vote lies, that decision will be taken by the DAO. Okay, so it's not just one person who's running it, it's the whole community that is everything inside that organization. Okay, so it's not like how our democracy works, although we talk about it being democratic, but it's not really democratic. But in DAOs, it's actually autonomous and it's actually decentralized. No matter if I start a DAO, I still don't have full authority. I'll have to go by the maximum mechanism. Maximum, whatever voting has been done towards whatever favor, all the major decisions will be taken, or even every single decision can be taken inside. it's like a more complicated form of community that involves like a lot of other processes. Okay, but that is what it means in layman terms. That is how you should look at it. That okay, I am a part of a DAO. Okay, fine. If I contribute, people see my proof of work, people see my contribution, then I am eligible to vote for certain things. They can't just be like any random person comes in the DAO and they can vote it. No, then if Priyanka really wants a Rust cohort, she'll ask all her friends to join the DAO and yeah, let's vote in favor of me. No, that's not how it's gonna work, right? So you got to earn everything in Web3. Nothing comes for free. So just like we talked about a consensus mechanism before, like proof of work and proof of stake, you know that for anything, any type of fraud, any type of activity that you want to bring in the system, you got to hold the maximum stake. So if there are 1,000 members in the team, in the DAO, Priyanka has to have 501 members in the whole team to be in the decision, to make the decision in her favor, right? So that is how it works. That will still be transparent. If you take these examples, it might be like, oh yeah, she can bring 500 people, huh? She's a CEO of a company, she can definitely bring. But no, there are other mechanisms involved. So that is DAO in like the basic terms. So I hope Web3 is not looking overwhelming for today's session. I saw few people tweeting it that yeah, the session in the end was overwhelming. So is it overwhelming today? Come on, speak up.
A lot of new terms, but not overwhelming.
Oh, okay, good. Yes, ma'am. Is it overwhelming? Okay, nice. Yeah. So, good. So that is how we'll be dealing with some other terms also. So, uh, for the next class, I'll tell you that we'll be doing a MetaMask installation. Okay, so everyone has to be like very active with that. And then we'll be looking into Remix platform, or we'll be talking about, oh, wait, I got a question in my mind. How many of you know the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum blockchain? Like one basic difference. I myself don't know a lot of it.
Their proof of consensus algorithm that it uses. Bitcoin uses
Okay.
proof of work and it uses proof of stake.
Oh, does anybody know that Ethereum was using proof of work and then they shifted to proof of stake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recently.
So yeah, it was pretty, no, not, yeah, I think last year, but it was pretty recent. And when I heard that, I was like, how is this system decentralized then? Somebody built something on certain mechanism and then changed the mechanism because they thought that, okay, this was more favorable. But then again, the whole decentralization things become very controversial, and we as developers only be aware about these terms, and then we should know how to build on it. You see, there's one thing that is very, very important. If you're in the tech industry, never get into controversial topics. Okay, if somebody comes, if somebody from Web2 comes and say, hey bro, why are you learning Web3, huh? They talk about privacy and decentralization so much, but there's no decentralization, huh? You are just supposed to say that, bro, I am supposed, you are building applications, I am trying to build something called decentralized application. That is the only difference that I know. You are writing codes in C++ and Java, I am writing codes in Solidity and Rust. That is the only difference I know. And we should both focus on building and making that proof of work. Okay, never get into the debate that, okay, why is this not truly decentralized? And there will be a lot of people who will be saying that, okay, blockchain is not energy compatible because it takes a lot of energy to solve computational puzzles. Ha, bro, when you forget to switch off the light when you're coming out of your room, that is also a waste of energy. Okay, so let's not get into wastage of energy through blockchain. So okay, somebody wrote the answer. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency coming to Ethereum. It is a cryptocurrency as well as it provides platform for dApps. Yes. So see, Bitcoin has always been seen as a digital currency. Okay, somebody said that in the initial that it's a virtual currency. Correct. It's not a fiat. Fiat is when we're talking about cash and everything. It's a digital currency. And when Bitcoin came in, people thought blockchain just has one use case, that is these cryptocurrencies. But that is not true. There's a lot of other things that you can do. You can always have these decentralized applications. You can build platforms that is like running autonomously. You can have the whole technology implemented under DAOs. A lot more. Like, I don't even have like an idea on how wide it can go, right? Because right now also it's in an infant stage, and people are just trying to build applications that are existing in web 2, trying to make it decentralized, right? But we there are people who say that yeah, like someone wrote that it's a digital currency, but Ethereum is a digital currency, but it's also helping us build on the platform. So it is true that Ethereum came up with the whole development ecosystem. Ethereum introduced that, okay, you developers can build on our blockchain. They can make a truly decentralized application with the help of smart contracts and other underlying technologies. Okay, but there are other layers on Bitcoin where you can build, but because it's very slow, that is why it's not compatible, and people don't build on Bitcoin generally. Like, they don't at all. It's not even generally. You can have like multiple layers, and you can build on that, but the transaction speed and everything is very slow. That is why we don't do it. So if you see a Bitcoin versus Ethereum comparison, you will get to know how the transaction speed per second varies and all of that stuff. So that is proof of work requires mining while proof of stake does not. Hence, POS is more environment friendly. Yeah, correct. That is one reason why Ethereum shifted to POS, right? So, okay. So we have discussed about, okay, so since we were talking about decentralization, we also talk about dApps, right? So dApps is again one of the Gen Z words in Web3, because people were very bored of calling things as just applications. So they called as dApps. Okay. So yeah, everything that's running with the help of smart contract is deployed on a blockchain is called a dApp. And it's and all of the current startups are basically a decentralized version of a pre-existing application in Web 2, and that is how they're making so much of money. So that's one guilt that I have, that why wasn't I aware of these things before, and I could have made a decentralized Uber or Zomato or Swiggy and would have been super rich. But no worries, we are almost on track, and we can build good products as well. What else? dApps is, Prisha. Is it clear now? Yeah, okay. Fine. It's okay. We're just gonna discuss a few more terms. Okay. So again, we'll discuss something as EVM. Okay, since we are gonna build on Ethereum. Okay, I'll tell you, there are hundreds of blockchains that are existing. Some are like most of them are EVM compatible. So they work on like Solidity language itself. Some of them have their own virtual machines. So just like people who are aware of Java, they know how Java virtual machine works, right? The whole compilation and other stuff is the IDs or their department. We have nothing to do with it. So we write a code, and that virtual machine will do all the work and convert it into machine understanding language and blah blah terms. Okay, I could never really give a nice answer to JVM in my school days. I would always get confused. So I always had to say that yeah, we do our part and the JVM does its part. Huh? It explains the machine what we are supposed to. So that is how EVM also works. So you write something, and whatever way it is to be understood by the computer, that conversion is done through EVM. Okay, we will be using a platform called a Remix. So in the next class, I'll show you how the demo of Remix works, and we'll also be doing MetaMask installation. Okay, then we'll definitely learn about Solidity. I'm trying to recall if we did like most of the jargon terms. Are there any jargon terms left that
Can
you
you,
guys?
yeah, Oracle. What is Oracle?
Okay, no, Oracle is basically understood in the terms of database only, because that is what it's doing in Web 2 also. Okay. So Oracle is always considered as it is basically seen as the database itself. So are you talking about like I mean, there are many oracles. If you can talk, I think there's a blockchain as well. But like, yeah, I think it's talking about the usual database thing only. Like when you talk about Web 2 applications, Oracle is the one database that Oracle will always give you access to that database in either real time data or whatever stuff. So are you talking about that, or is it some
No,
other thing?
in Web3. Like in Web3, I've heard about Oracle, and when I googled it, it was written like it connects us to the real world data. So
Yeah. Again,
so
the
that's
same
it
thing.
only.
Oracle will always be about data only. That's the standard term that they have set. I think somebody mentioned IPFS also. IPFS is a very, very popular protocol. It stands for Interplanetary Filing System. In layman terms, IPFS is the Google Drive of Web3. So it helps you store data on chain and off chain. And IPFS goes complementary with Filecoin. Okay, so these both were, I remember in the last class mentioning Filecoin. So these both were basically there to store data in a like a peer-to-peer format where you upload the data and someone is supposed to take care of it, or you give it to a node to store that data, and they are incentivized for keeping the data. But now they've built in another layer that goes as Filecoin EVM, and you can interact with that FEVM to deploy your smart contracts on Ethereum. It's not built on blockchain, but rather is designed to work together with existing blockchain protocols. Yes, so IPFS is not like built on a particular blockchain or working for a particular blockchain. You can just store data on a blockchain using IPFS. And it's doing a great job. I think when you guys do a full-fledged project, I don't think any blockchain project being complete without IPFS. And they give you so much money. God, I have like won 5-6 hackathons, and in all of those hackathons, IPFS was one of the track that we won. So there's a lot of money to be made, and they give you a lot of scholarships as well. They do these camps and other if you're contributing to their ecosystem, they will give you a scholarship. They have their camps, so that is good. I was also one of the scholars for IPFS, but I couldn't go because I had end semester exams. That is a sad story. Anyway, how does a smart contract know when to execute? Suppose this contract deploys when the temperature hits 40 degrees Celsius. How will the Oracle steps in? Ashutosh has like one of the best answers, but I don't know why is he not unmuting himself and talking. Either he's using ChatGPT or Google and putting it in the chat. That is why he's not trying to explain it, or he's too lazy to explain it and like, let me put in the chat. Sneha will anyway do the reading, bro. Oracles provide the temperature data, so the smart contract, so it deployed. No, so that it can execute. It's already deployed for execution, right? But it has to match that particular data for its execution to start, and Oracle will give you that real-time data. Someone's trying to speak. Yeah, finally.
So basically, there is a technology which is the blockchain, and then it needs real-time information from the environment. So oracles are just the like APIs sort of that integrate into
Yeah.
the smart contract.
Yeah, good. Thank you. So oracles are always gonna be about data, database, real-time data, and other stuff. Any other jargon terms that we're supposed to discuss that we have missed? Oh, I was supposed to show you a video, a nice video. Where did it go? Okay, yeah, this one. And share screen. Okay. Are you guys able to hear it?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, me too. Why, bro? Why? What is this new feature, God? Whenever I use headphones, not able to it. Anyway, I'll put the link here. So this like really, this beautifully explains how blockchain work. Just a moment. Okay, this is the link. So this basically explains how blockchain works, how is a block added. If there are multiple people who are trying to add the block, one will be, it which block will it be added to, and blah blah. Okay, someone asked about DeFi. Okay, so DeFi again is Gen Z term for finance. It's decentralized finance. Okay. So everything, every transaction that you're trying to do through cryptocurrencies or involving finance related stuffs or financial services, cryptocurrency exchanges and other stuff. So people are trying to make it, DeFi is basically finance, but in blockchain. They're trying to remove all those centralization, but that is not how it happens. Okay, even though there's so many cryptocurrency exchanges, it is run by their people. Again, a controversial topic. But if you are in the system, you will get to know stuffs. You will get to know the common stuffs on how these exchanges are working and other stuffs. But yeah, I think they like a pretty good job. There are a lot of stuffs how DeFi can literally work. You can do yielding, you can do staking. So it's like you're putting in your own money, just like previously we used to have FDs. So you will generate a certain amount and you put it as FD, and the bank itself will give you 6%, 7% of interest rate. So here what you're doing, if you have certain tokens, you stake it on your platform and you earn interest on that amount. So then again, there is this concept of loan, where if somebody needs like a lot of you know fiat loan, okay, and it has like a lot of currencies, they can, but the exchange doesn't have that kind of money, and since you are super rich, you have a lot of fiat to give them. You give it to the exchange will give it to the person who needs it, and you will be gaining interest because you lended something. So there's like a lot of stuff under finance that can come. I don't really as of now, I haven't really explored the segment of DeFi particularly. There's so much to learn this segment only that I haven't been able to allocate time. So again, yeah, that is DeFi, decentralized finance. What are the other terms that we are supposed to discuss? Do we have more questions? Fiat means the basic currency. So it's like it's like a cool term. So you don't say cash, but for the current currency or the type of monetary system that we're using, we're saying, okay, yeah, that's fiat currency. So whatever we are using in today's era is fiat currency. Can we cover mainnet and testnet? Yeah. Okay. correction. The nonce is a number that hashes along with the message, so that hash fits the rule of the blockchain. Example, yeah, 4 zeros or whatever. Yeah, like it can have any, and miners are paid to find that nonce. So that is how it relates to the hash. Got it. So, since we discussed nonce before, nonce is a number that's used once that hashes along with the message so that the hash fits the rule of the blockchain. So it can be like if the blockchain is supposed to have the starting 30 zeros, the nonce will be with the hash. No, the nonce will go along with the message, and the hash that has to be generated has to be in like a certain rule format, and the miners are supposed to find that nonce. That is what I was trying to explain when you say that what is the probability of finding a number that can generate 30 zeros in the start and match that hash value, right? So that is a correction that Ashutosh pointed, but we had already discussed in like some other manner. Okay, somebody asked about mainnet and testnet. Okay, so this is very important for developers. You got to understand. Okay, now suppose we're doing a project. Not suppose, we'll definitely be doing a project. And as I've already told you that everything that you have to do on smart contracts, using smart contracts, it will be recorded as a transaction on the blockchain. And every time you do a transaction, you have to pay a certain amount of money, right? Now, if we would have actually been that rich, why would we be taking these classes? There was no point, right? So, since we are very, very poor in that terms, we can't really put in real money to test our project. Okay, so it's like we want this, we have written this code, we want this feature to run, and it didn't run the right way. But since we already put in real money, we lost a lot of money. Again, we cut the code, again we deployed it. Okay, fine. We became more poor. So if you're trying to deploy on the main net, that is the main blockchain, you'll have to pay real money. But the testnet itself is like a test network. They will give you these toy tokens that, bro, we are making fun of you. We know that you guys are poor. Take these test tokens and do your deployment. So just like in my childhood, my mother will always give me those business game currencies and be like, see, you're so rich. And I used to believe it. I was like, oh, wow, I have so much money. But no, that is not how it works. So testnet will always have these test tokens that these blockchains or these networks are going to give you for free, so that you pay using that for your project to be deployed or any transaction to be performed. They are not real money. Just like in casinos, you have those circle. I am really blabbering because I'm not finding the right terms. Yeah, so when you go to casinos, you have those circles, right? That represent money in casinos. You can't take like a bag of 5 lakh rupees and be like, yeah, now I'll play with this money. No, you give that money and they give you certain tokens, and then you play with it, and then you get it converted to real money, right? So these tokens are exactly like those casino coins. They don't have a real value. I've taken a few sessions on smart contract deployment, and these kids will be so happy to have 2 ether worth of test tokens because they'll show, okay, $1,600, and they're like, ma'am, is it real money? I was like, yeah, yeah. Very nice. Getting real money for doing what? Attending my session. So testnet, we get free and unlimited cryptocurrencies. No, it's not unlimited. They also have like a limit, but yeah, you can like take it again and again for the deployment, but they might have like a send restriction on, you can only do 5 transactions a day, or you can only request for 3 tokens or 2 tokens. Why there are so many blockchain available in ecosystem while blockchain has to be global ledger? How are these? Ask all the questions in one chat only. Don't give me the time to breathe. Everything you have to ask in one chat. How are these blockchain contributing to Bitcoin global edge? Okay, so first of all, I seriously have no idea why there are so many blockchains available. you should really ask these questions to people who are coming up with these blockchains. They're trying to make a product of their own. Okay, so I'll tell you, there's this concept of trilemma in blockchain. Okay, now the trilemma is a solution that these people are trying to solve. Okay, the trilemma basically states that wait, I forgot. It has it talks about that a blockchain cannot be decentralized, secure and scalable at the same time. Wait, let me just verify it. I did I was doing a research paper on it and I forgot. Scalable, decentralized. Yeah, that is what it means. So trilemma is basically a problem. Okay, people are saying that there are three conditions. So decentralization, scalability, and maybe security or security. So they say that a blockchain can be either of the two, but they can't be all three at one point. Okay, so every blockchain is trying to solve that trilemma. Everyone's trying to make their blockchain decentralized, make it scale with like a nice speed of transaction, and they're making it secure as well. But they're not able to do it. I mean, Algorand claims that it has somehow solved the trilemma, but we'll see in the longer run if it's true or not. So that is why maybe people are just coming up with like their own blockchain, claiming that okay, we are better in this term, we are better in that term, and blah blah. Okay, then while blockchain, so that is right. So that is why they're like blockchain. And see, every it's not like Ethereum. If there's Ethereum blockchain, then there's Algorand, then there's Solana. It's not like it's all forming one chain. They're all forming chains, hypothetical. Also, you should understand that this blockchain is this idea of the blocks of data forming a chain and everything. It is happening, but it has like more of a hypothetical concept because that is how you're understanding it. So it's not data is also Ethereum blockchain's data is also joining hands with Solana. So everyone's like trying to make their own chain of data and which is available with all the nodes. And how are these blockchain contributing to Bitcoin global ledger? I mean, see, I don't see that these blockchains are really contributing to Bitcoin global ledger. Bitcoin did make use of blockchain technology, but Bitcoin is still limited to being a digital currency. It's not its only use case is as the digital currency. You can't do anything else on that particular blockchain, right? So they're not really contributing to Bitcoin ledger. I don't see point of contribution. So is your did you get the answer to all your questions, Niharika? Kinda. Okay. So speak up if there's do you not understand?
I'm still trying to understand that why these so many blockchain available in this ecosystem, why they are not even, why they are not contributing to the, and how they are contributing. Sorry, this is the main question that's stuck in my mind.
Okay, so let me tell you. Somebody would. So I had these questions when not about blockchain. I had this question when I was in college. That if Zomato was existing, why did Swiggy exist? Why did Uber Eats exist? It is all focused towards the same problem, right? Why could not they just contribute to one ecosystem that is solving the problem of delivering food at your doorstep, right? So they could have just joined hands with Zomato and contributed to Zomato's ecosystem. But that is not how it works. Capitalism. Oh, don't use these terms. So the thing is that everyone's looking at the problem and trying to build a solution of their own. It's their choice. It's their choice of coming up. You just never know which one survives, right? You just don't know that tomorrow a lot of blockchains might just collapse because the project didn't run successfully, and some of them actually did wonders, right? So everyone's just trying and taking their shot of solving the problem that they see in terms of decentralization and privacy and data security and other stuffs. And none of these are actually contributing to Bitcoin. You should understand that if somebody gave you a concept through a product, that okay, if somebody, suppose your friend said that, hey bro, there's a problem that there should be, a app. There should be an app that delivers food at your doorstep, right? So somebody might would have come up with a website. Okay, they didn't know how to make applications, so they made a website. In this case, about currencies, having one currency, or he saw that a lot of banks went bankrupt and there was a need for digital currency, or whatever the problem he saw, and he came up with Bitcoin. But since your friends did a website around that problem, that doesn't mean that you are compelled or anyone else is compelled to contribute that to that particular website and solve the problem. No, they can take their shot in solving the problem. They can come up with a mobile application, they can come up with anything that they want. So that is how things work. So was I able to change your kinda question to yes, certainly? Okay, yeah. Thank God. I don't know how I came up with the answer, but I did, kinda. Okay. So we discussed a lot of jargon terms, and in the next session we'll be looking into remix and MetaMask and set up the digital wallet, and then we'll discuss about these how can we keep all of that secure, and how can we start writing code and blah blah. So for this session, I think that's it from my end. Any questions? No, please, huh? Don't ask questions today. It is said that at first the value of Bitcoin was 13,000 and now it is 1 million. I guess, how do we change the value of Bitcoin in that? Again, all of this is based on, see, I'll tell you. I don't know how many of you actually invest in stock markets or mutual funds, no, not mutual funds, but yeah, stock markets, right? There are people who understand how market works. Okay, so if Tata cracked a deal worth 1,000 crores, there's a high chance that whatever stock Tata has, or if Tata Steel cracked a deal, the stock price will go up. So only the people who are actually in the market and trading and trying to understand the investment market and stuff can only tell you how Bitcoin's prices is going up. We as students are just taking a shot to become rich. That we are buying 0.00006 Bitcoin and hoping that it will turn to this value and we'll also be rich. And one of my friend's sister actually became rich. She's like 10 years older to us, and she bought Bitcoin in like when it was very, very less, $1 or something. She bought like 0 point something or 1 something. And right now when Bitcoin's prices actually rose, she bought 2 flats and sold Bitcoin, got currency like fiat currency, bought 2 nice flats in good place, and she's settled happily. So she didn't knew that it will happen, right? And she neither was tracking how the system is working. But maybe it's the scarcity that only 21 million coins are there. So, and we have reached a certain stage, and after that, since it's a decentralized thing and only yeah, they have the block reward every 10 years or so. So it's creating scarcity. And the other thing is, once that supply is over, nobody can, buy new bitcoins. They can just exchange and set and blah and blah. So that is how the demand, supply, and the market prices are working. If I would actually know how the prices of Bitcoin would be working, bro, I would not be here. So yeah, we don't really know how these assets are gaining money. We are just supposed to contribute to the ecosystem, build on it, and do our part. You can't get into understanding how it's a bigger game. There's so many people who are so early in the game. They are the founding members. They are the people who established the whole technology and stuff. You can't just get in and try and be like, okay, let's understand. You'll have to ask Satoshi how the price is changing. Are we going to have crypto and cryptocurrency session? No, we will learn about how to make a cryptocurrency using code, but we're not going to have any session about specifically about crypto. But what do you really mean by having a session about cryptocurrency? Do you want to understand how trading works, or do you want to know what is it that you want to know?
How the cryptocurrency work and how the market stuff and all.
No, sorry, I am not the right person to explain. You'll have to ask Kiran or Priyanka if they have anyone like that who can explain you how market works and stuff.
So sorry, what was the question? I just joined and after so many calls.
No, she wanted to know if you're gonna do a session about